Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game. I'm going to be doing my own levels here. I've got 4 levels I've made here. A couple of them since the last stream, and then a couple more I already had done, just didn't get a chance to show off. Unfortunately, all 4 of these levels are levels that I originally made in Super Mario Maker 1. Since this is my last Mario Maker 2 stream, assuming that there's not going to be a Season 2, you never know, there could be a Season 2, but just in case there isn't a Season 2, I wanted to finish putting my favorite levels that I made in Mario Maker 1 into Mario Maker 2, and that did not really leave me time for me to be creating brand new levels. Granted, all of these have had some amount of work improving upon my original, so there's at least that. Let's start with Spike's Top Stampede, which is still hard to say. Take the high ground if you want to avoid this not quite invincible herd. There's a course ID there for anybody who's going to want to play it without being spoiled. RB3, 21C, NJF. So far, it has not had very many attempts at it, and the clear rate is not that successful either. It is certainly a tricky level. Allow me to show you why. Wildland says I could always do quick recordings and upload level short showcases to YouTube. Yeah, I could. There was a Goomba shoe back in there, and I wasn't thinking about it. That would have definitely made this a lot easier. Could have stomped on these guys. And by the way, there are a lot of these guys. Like, really a lot. Definitely want to stick to the high ground as we go through here. Also, do not want to kill this first Koopa, because I kind of want to grab these coins right here. The holes in the ground are basically my attempt at decorating to make the ground a little bit more interesting. I mean, besides the army spike tops that is going through. Speaking of ground, I kind of want to grab this. This will make this part a little bit easier while I grab these coins. And the time warning has appeared just in time to indicate that things are getting kind of mixed up here. Kind of a tricky spot. Oh, you know what? I got a tail. And just about at the end of the level. However, I'm going to go ahead and lose on purpose here, because I want to go back to the checkpoint. One of the improvements I made to this level is having spike tops appear whenever you spawn at the checkpoint. Originally, the ground was quite empty initially, because it takes a bit of time for the spike tops to spawn, so I wanted to make sure that I had some spike tops spawn right whenever you spawn at the checkpoint. If any of that made sense. I will, of course, show off how this level works in just a bit. Actually, that's another thing that was improved in this compared to my first attempt at making this level. You were able to quite easily see where all the spike tops were coming from originally. It took a lot of tinkering to figure out how to properly hide them. Get a 1-up for doing that. And some extra coins here because why not? So that was Spike Top Stampede. Now let me go ahead and head into Core Spot, and I'll kind of give you an idea of how this works. It is actually quite elaborate, especially around the checkpoint. Right, Wario Land is pointing out that initially they came out of the orange pipe at the start. That is what is being implied, of course. But, of course, once the pipe is off screen, they no longer spawn from there. So, I spawned them up top. Let me go ahead and kind of start me off right here. And you can kind of see how this works. So initially, this platform comes along to pick them up. You won't quite get to see that first one in action, but as this goes along here, and hopefully I don't die in the process, they'll get carried down to the conveyor belt, where they'll slowly be pushed back, and since they're being facing away, they will wind up falling and start marching to the right. Well, there's a stride spike top right there, but that's because I started the level wrong. I started it in the middle of all this rather than down below. Otherwise, down below it would all be working properly. But you can see how that is working. The hardest point was the checkpoint, because it takes like a good 10 seconds for these guys to go through their process of falling down, and I needed some to spawn sooner than 10 seconds. So not only do I have these guys down here appearing right here, but I also have some set up in between right here, where each one of these guys is timed in such a way that they will spawn sooner than the guys up here. And oh boy, was that complicated. Because not only do I have to make sure that these guys spawn whenever you start at the checkpoint, I also have to make sure that they did not spawn if you're coming off from the start of the level. Which means I had to create some platforms that would catch them and make sure that they do not drop when they're not supposed to. At the same time, I also have to make sure that these platforms did not accidentally catch the ones that do need to drop. That was so hard and took several hours to figure out. That was a late night of working, I tell you what. But I got it working. All of them spawn as they are supposed to. Oh, I also took advantage of the fact that Super Mario Maker 2 has this handy-dandy custom scroll feature, so that the player is unable to jump high enough to see all of this mess. And I also have an empty spot here because of the fact that spike tops are taking their time to climb down this wall. It kind of mucked things up a little bit. And that is that level. Easily the most complicated level I've ever made. Oh, thank you for the bits, Wario Land. Wario Land says, good job on this. Oop, don't want to hit that. Let's instead zoom back in. By the way, I do not like that there's a zoomed far in option. This is claustrophobic, and I have no idea why it's an option. Okay, back into Course World. Let's go ahead and show off my next level here. Rocky Wrench's Iceberg Fortress. Infiltrate this chilly stronghold, or locate the alternate exit. The course ID is MDH9LF OMG. I find that funny. Once again, a 33% clear rate. So this level here uses the Super Mario 1 airship theme, but I don't actually have it as an airship. Rather, I have an iceberg. I wanted this theme specifically for the music. Starting off, there's going to be one of these guys in here. I also want some of these coins, so I'll go ahead and grab them. And we'll go ahead and move on. I could have had a theme that had actual water down there, but like I said, I really wanted the music. I also wanted some of these background objects. This is a fortress, after all. A forest theme would not have done too well with this. So, the goal is down that pipe eventually, but I want to pop up here to grab a thing. Ooh, I almost got hit by that. Karibo's shoe is not immune to rocky wrenches. Give me this. And now I'll go ahead and hop on down here. And I'll ignore the path to the left for the moment and instead come up this way. And there's gonna be a fire flower in that block as soon as I get rid of you. And we're going under the fortress to infiltrate it from below. As we come up here, though, I want to point out to the right, there's some springs falling down. And there's just gonna keep on being springs falling down. There's a reason for these springs falling down. There's a spring spawner up here. I will explain how that works in a bit. First, I'm going to hit this. We have two options here. We could proceed up this way. Or, let me grab this real quick. Since we have the Karibo shoe, I could use it to get a boost up here. And up here is a Starman. I'm gonna let the Starman wear out real quick, because I want to go through the next room kind of normal. Because the next room has a boss fight. A boss fight of towering rocky wrenches. Get rid of them before they start throwing at me. Oop, and speaking of which, dodge that. The conveyor belt is not too much of an issue, but it does add a bit of a wrinkle to getting through here. Wait for that. Oh, more wrenches. Okay, you're gonna have to stop with the wrenches, please. And there's the last one down there. Okay, we're at the home stretch. Try not to lose right here. That would kinda suck. And we have arrived at the end of the level. I don't know if it's possible to get hit by that shell, or by that bullet, but so far I haven't. Now, that was the normal exit. Let me go ahead and show off where the secret exit is now. I definitely want to grab this again. You can't actually reach the secret exit with this, but there's something I wanted to point out. This is, of course, like I said, a level I originally made in Super Mario Maker 1. And apparently in Super Mario Maker 1, I made the secret exit too easy to reach. You see, the secret exit is up in the air. And originally, you could hop up onto this platform and fly over to it, no problem whatsoever. But I have moved the location of the alternate exit, so it's not quite as easy now. Allow me to demonstrate. Hopefully without botching it. Hopefully without botching it. There it was. And you can see how I have made it harder to get to. For one thing, it's further away. For another, we have the situation with that invisible coin block. The real way to get to that secret exit is to take this pipe up here. Make sure to take care of this cheap. Might as well grab the one up while we're here. And carefully float over here where there is a secret vine. It's a long jump, so try to get a good jump from the top of the vine. And that's the secret exit. Now, it is once again time for me to show off how this level works. Your record is 2 minutes 5 seconds. It's pretty easy to get to the secret exit in less than a minute, so safe to say nobody playing this level yet has reached the secret exit. Wildland is asking if we could have climbed over the mountain. You know, I'm not actually sure. I should try that, because I've never actually tried that. I just assumed that because there was a block up there, that you can't actually get over it. Well, let's find out. Nope, it blocks you. It considers this a wall to the top of the screen, therefore you can't jump over it. Anyway, first things first, come over here and you can see all of the invisible blocks that prevent you from cheesing it to the secret exit. There is a gap right here that if you time it really well, maybe you'll be able to cheese it. I had to have this open so that the player would not accidentally block themselves whenever climbing up the vine. Also, Wildland was asking why the multi-pipes? Purely aesthetic. I thought it was interesting looking having the pipes be segmented. As for down here, there's actually a couple things I need to show off. First off, there is the situation with the springs. The springs come along from this contraption up here. One by one, they'll be coming along on this track and dropping down, as though they have come from that section up above. Most importantly, though, I wanted to prevent the player from being able to go up this pipe and seeing all the rocky wrenches that the player has just defeated. And so, I made sure that when the player goes down here, they are immediately blocked from going back into the pipe. And the way that is handled is with this shell right here. Observe. And there we go. Instant blockage. You can't see it from here, but trust me, there was instant blockage. And just so that the player can't come back in here and have this trigger again so that the blockage is gone, I have this blocking the pipe so they can't come back in here. Of course, you're probably wondering why not just do the same with this pipe. I could have easily just had a blocking thing right here so that they couldn't come back in here. Well, the problem is they actually could come back in there, as I will demonstrate with this. You go through the pipe, and even though you can't exit the pipe, you can at least see what's there. And I wanted to prevent the player from doing that. Wildland is suggesting using a one-way wall right after the pipe. Unfortunately not. That's what I did in Super Mario Maker 1. I had one of these blockades like sitting right here, so that as soon as the player popped out, they'd have little chance of getting back in. However, they changed things up in Super Mario Maker 2. you no longer can have these blockades overlapping the pipe, which gives the player plenty of room to backtrack if they wanted. So that is why I came up with this contraption right here. Oh, Warionland is asking why not have a pipe generating springs underwater. Let's clear this out. Give this room. If I put this as high as possible... Let's make sure that there's a wall here. So right here, it should appear to be working normal. Yep, they're dropping down. However, I'm betting if I come down here and I start waiting... Yep, this is what I thought. Because the spawn pipe is not on screen, it's not actually spawning the springs. So the contraption is actually necessary because the contraption, the springs are spawned regardless of whether they're off-screen up above or not. So Wireland is asking why the moles were dropping springs into the water. You know, I'm not sure. I think when I originally created a level, the idea was that you would have to use a spring in order to jump up. Oh, that's right, yeah, I didn't actually play that part. You need the springs in order to jump up into the next platform if you do not have the Karibo's shoe. Wildland is also asking, wouldn't the springs in the water run out if the player waits too long? Well, yeah, but they have to wait for quite a bit. Okay, I need a break. And when we come back from this break, I'm gonna show off my other levels.